here. We did it. We made it.
Bonjour. I feel French because I had a
Buongiorno.
chocolate croissant.
Croissant.
Croissant. I feel like I could be French. Do you know what I mean? When we went to Austria, I walked around and I was like, everyone here looks like me. We have the high cheekbones, the round faces, the light eyes. And I feel like when I went to France in 2018, went to Paris, I could be French. If I really wanted to learn French, I could pass as French.
I think you could. It's that European look, I guess.
Not that anybody was questioning whether I couldn't or not, but I just felt like I needed to.
That high chic bone.
Prove myself. Anyway, we are at the Clayton right now.
The Clayton Hotel. It's a fun hotel in Cherry Creek, Denver, Colorado.
We're here for a little staycation. We got the boys an overnight babysitter. The first time that we did an overnight sitter that wasn't Lucas's parents or my parents, which feels like a milestone.
Gosh, what is the recipe to a successful marriage and parenthood? Staycations, baby.
Staycations, and not even just staycations, but like getting out of the house and doing things together. Date night. We had a fabulous night last night, and I'm going to do a vlog on it so you guys will see as well. But we went to the little bar downstairs called Cretan's, had some margaritas, and then we went over to Keeney's and had an amazing Greek dinner. It was unreal.
It was really a very nice experience. Cretans and Keeney's.
One thing we talk about a lot on our just own is that Denver does not have a good food scene. And to be fair, we also haven't really explored the Denver food scene, but it's not known for its food. Denver.
Yeah, I think it's coming up, though. I think it's definitely come to a place where it's becoming a very respected food area. But yes, staying here at the Clayton, we've had a great experience so far. You should kind of tell the listeners what the Clayton is all about and why we're even here.
Well, I will, but I wanted to just say that we had amazing Greek food, and honestly, I feel like Mexican is good in Colorado, and also every Greek place that I've been to, I feel like has been really great.
Yeah, I agree. I guess it's kind of funny. The longer you're in Denver, the more you realize, like, when it comes to food, it's like you got pizza places and you've got Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
Are you just going shades inside? Shades inside always?
Yeah, I'm going shades inside today.
If you guys aren't watching on YouTube, you should watch on YouTube. Lucas is full shades right now.
We're in a little our little room. It's nice. The sun is glaring through the window, so I'm shades inside.
So the Clayton is a hotel, but it's also a members club, and I believe it's for creative entrepreneurs, or maybe it's just for anybody, but you do have to apply. If you're familiar with Soho House, which is in, I believe, Miami, there's one in Nashville, there's one in New York. I mean, they're all over the place. Clayton is kind of like Denver's Soho House. It's a membership club.
It's where the who's who are members.
It's a members club, and it's amazing because you can come and co-work. There's a big co-working lounge for members. There's a fitness center. There's a rooftop restaurant/bar with a pool and a deck. It's really...
Yeah, it's a sexy spot.
Yeah,
it's a place to see, to be seen.
For sure.
There's a cool community here, and it's a cool vibe. And you just feel cool being at the Clayton.
And what's the recipe to success? We're going to talk a little bit about like how we define success today, because I feel like our podcast is literally about success in relationships and career, but maybe you guys don't know what we define as success. So I thought it could be helpful and just a fun episode. But also for me, I think a big part of what I'm realizing is being around like-minded community is crucial to my success, not only in like getting opportunities and getting to where I want to be, but also just for my happiness and my joy. Lucas and I, we always joke, because in 2021 or 2022, I think 2022, we felt so like isolated, like we lacked a community, we didn't know anybody. And then in 2023 we were like, we're making friends, like this is the year we're having a community, we have to put ourselves out there. And I feel like we did a really good job at that, and it's only just continuing to build. And so I think Clayton is like our next thing that we want to...
Yeah, I think what comes with being in this community and having a membership at the Clayton comes with a whole nother group of people that we have yet to meet that are all very like-minded. And I think that's a big goal for us. You know, I think that should be a goal for anybody. Is this world, we're not supposed to be doing it alone. I think the more friends and the more you know, village we can creates a better, happier life. And I'm all for that. You know, that's something that we need in our life, and I want to dive into it.
Did Gandhi say that?
I don't think so.
Lucas was last night telling me I'm not a motivational speaker, but that was pretty motivating.
I'm
Except
also a
you were
little hungover. So.
Yeah, you were a little like the energy levels in your voice weren't really there.
This right now.
when you were saying
Yeah,
that.
I need to pick it up.
You needed to maybe take a page from like David Goggins' book in that one.
Right. Yeah, last night was fun. Drinks were definitely had.
And this guy also was the shroomy shroom guy too.
Let's not go there.
But let's talk about the coffee really quick before we dive into some of the things that we want to talk about. Coffee. What did you get, Lucas?
My typical quad shot iced latte with cinnamon and honey. It's fantastic, actually. I'm really impressed with that.
Do you think you'd be able to drink a latte without
No.
a sweetener?
Oh, without a
Like
sweetener?
a honey?
Yeah, for sure. I can do that. But in this world, there's an option to add whatever you'd like. So I
Free will, baby. The American dream.
typically will add the little gits and gats that I prefer.
So I got a oat milk cappuccino. And if you know me from Instagram, you obviously know that I've been doing a lot of raw milk and dairy. But I'm literally like, I've been congested or sick or allergies. I don't even know for the last month. So I'm trying not to do dairy right now. So I'm doing an oat milk cap, and I've been loving cappuccinos. It's like the perfect milk. Also, I'm starting to do a little coffee critique series on my Instagram, which is fun.
Critique it
So-
out. When,
Let me take a taste test for you guys. It's good. It's not the best I've ever had, though. It tastes a little burnt. Does yours taste burnt?
Ooh, no, mine is delightful.
Mine tastes a little burnt, but I do like that I can taste the espresso still. One thing about me, if I have a drink where it's too milky, I'm not here for it. I have to taste the espresso. I'm such a coffee forward person, but it is good. It's just not the best I've ever had. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10.
Okay, nice.
What'd you give yours?
Let's try this one more time.
You gotta do a little swirl.
I'm in my now I'm in my taste test coffee critique. Put that mask on. I feel bad. It's like I want to give that a 10 out of 10.
You do?
It's delightful.
Yeah? Okay, well, let me taste yours. What'd you get, whole milk?
Yeah, I did get whole milk.
It smells incredible.
It's-
You know what? You don't typically do the cinnamon, do you? Or do you always do the cinnamon?
I always do this.
Like, even when you're ordering out?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. It's so good, right?
That might be the best iced latte I've ever had. That is so good. You know why? Because it tastes like the honey and the cinnamon and the milk and the espresso are really well blended.
Really well blended.
That's the difference. There's a coffee shop, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to drag anybody, but near us that I fucking loathe because it tastes so watery and milky. You can't even taste the espresso. And Lucas
The
was
vibes
saying,
are immaculate, but the coffee isn't the best.
no, and it's actually like a pretty prominent coffee shop in Denver. There's a lot of them, and it's not good. Don't waste your time. Should we say the name?
I'll take no, because I like them.
I know, but you were saying yesterday that they inspired you to do the quad shot.
They did because their lattes just weren't hitting.
Yeah,
Like
you
I
can't
couldn't
taste-
taste the coffee.
Yeah.
Or the espresso at least.
Yeah.
So I started doing quad shots there, and that's what birthed my quad shot. And it's kind of fucked because there's no going back.
Yeah.
There's no going back. I'm only quad shot latte guy from here on out.
That's fine. You seem to handle caffeine pretty well.
Caffeine is, yeah, I do.
Yeah. But anyway, we are here at the Clayton for sort of like our anniversary staycation. We celebrated our 2-year marriage anniversary. It's funny because people always say like our wedding anniversary. We didn't have a wedding.
No.
So it's our marriage anniversary. 2 years married on Monday, and he had culinary school. So we weren't able to really, this feels like the longest fucking week ever, by the way. That seems like forever ago that our anniversary was.
Yeah, pretty long week.
But we were like, let's do a little staycation. And the Clayton was kind enough to let us come here. And we are just having a blast. And last night we had Keenies, like we said. And we actually sat next to this cute ass couple. It was they were like probably in their 70s, right?
Yeah, I think they were in their 70s. Well, Amanda and I were totally doing our little
We were in our content creator bag.
Yeah, we were in our content creator
We had the
bag.
flash going, the little mics out.
Yeah, we were just talking about our meal, and then it was a girl sitting with her grandparents, like right across from us, and she was like, "Is that for TikTok?"
She goes,
She's
I
like-
need to know what you're doing. Are you doing a TikTok?
Yeah. And then we just kind of got to speaking, and she mentioned how her grandparents were visiting her from out of town, and her grandparents were super cute. Like grandpa was wearing suspenders and the whole 9 yards. They've been married for 59 years,
59.
which is fucking nuts.
And we asked them, what's the recipe to their success in their marriage? And what did they say?
Yeah, what did he say? It's like they're always
You don't remember. They actually said that like they prioritize each other.
yeah, prioritizing each other. I think he said ever evolving or something like that.
You have to always evolve. Things change.
Yeah.
You always have to. I think what I got out of that was like you have to prioritize checking in with each other because things are going to change and things are going to get chaotic, and you have
Yeah.
to prioritize that time together.
Yeah, what I took out of it, what I really appreciated
Oh,
is
I know what he
everything.
said.
What did he say?
Love and respect.
Yeah,
He said
love-
respect is the biggest thing.
Yeah, respect is the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Which
right.
I think is huge because there are a lot of people out there in relationships that don't respect each other.
Yeah, you got to respect. You got to respect when you're with them. You got to respect when you're not with them.
AKA don't talk shit about your spouse to your fucking kids. That's like the biggest thing I hate. When people will like talk shit about someone's dad to their kid. You know what I mean?
Your dad.
Yes, your dad is just your mom is just
Yeah.
hate that. Don't do that shit.
Yeah, and it's also like going on work trips and stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't fucking do anything stupid.
Don't like cheat.
Respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's respect.
Yeah, it's respect. Respect your partner, respect your union.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was
It was
interesting.
great. Well, what I took away from it was obviously their beautiful story, 59 years married, but I was really happy because everything that they said, I feel like you and I already take very seriously, and something that we do with our relationship today. So looks like we're going to be together for a while.
I think you need to take like 3 more sips of that because you're just, and so I like we do that. Like you're so drawn out. You're hungover.
I feel a
But
little drawn out, to be honest with you.
but I agree. I think it's funny because Lucas was saying he
I
was
need to
like,
wake up my voice, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus, why am I so monotone?
'Cause-
Hello.
you sound like Jack Black. But it's funny because Lucas like looked at me last night after they left and was like, well, that means we're locked in. You better get fucking used to me because
Exactly.
we do everything that they say. But I think in spirit, and this is going to be a shorter episode today just because we wanted to get something out for you guys, but we're toying around with a new concept and we're trying to get that in the works. And so just stay tuned. And I know we say this on like the last 3 episodes, but just stay tuned because we have some things in the works. And also I never want to come on here and be like, we have everything figured out. Like this is new to us. The podcast is something that we're excited about and we just started. So we're experimenting. We're trying to level up. And so we wanted to get an episode out and just chat with you guys because we didn't want to go a week without it. And just stay tuned for like what's going to come next. But
Consistency is key.
consistency is key. And again, this guy over here is a perfectionist.
And for the listeners on this episode, thank you for bearing with me because I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing.
But what I was saying is that I think it's interesting because we have a perfect blend. Like Lucas is such a perfectionist, which helps me because he will think of all the little details that are important that I don't necessarily think about because I'm somebody that's just like, we just got to execute. We got to put shit up. We got to be consistent. Like, I don't care if it's perfect. We just have to put it up there.
And I'm like logistics.
Yeah.
Like you got to think about all the little things.
You're detail oriented. You are, vibe, thinking about all the little things that go into it. And I'm just like, here's the idea. Let's do it. Let's throw
know.
something up. And I'm also like, if we don't have the idea available to us right now, let's just put something else out there. And you're like, what? So it's a good balance. But in lieu of being at the Clayton, which is all about, I think, like success and being with other successful people and also building your own success through a membership club like this, and then also just the conversation we had with that lovely couple last night about their success in their marriage. I
Yes.
thought we should talk about how we define success before we wrap up.
Success. Success is a beautiful thing.
Are you British now? That's like Westchester.
I don't even know where Westchester is.
It's in the UK.
Oh. I think success is very what's the word I'm looking for? I mentioned
Subjective.
Subjective
coffee.
Yeah, I think success is in the eye of the beholder. Because you had a good point the other day. You're like, I think a lot of people look at success as money. To where if you had a conversation with someone and they're just like, yeah, I'm successful. I make $200,000 a year, and you're like, wow, you are successful. But then they're like, yeah, and I make that by like serving tables,
Or I'm a nanny.
Then you're like, oh, you know. So it's very to the eye of the beholder. I think it's how I define success is blue faces and Benjamins, baby.
He still might be drunk. Look at him.
Yeah, no. How do I define success? I think first and foremost, us being who we are, married, very healthy marriage, 2 beautiful children. Our children are incredible little human beings who love people. We're already incredibly successful. Mm-hmm. But something that I didn't have, growing up, and I think people define success with things that they wish they had or didn't have. So if they see someone else with that, they're like, they're successful, right? So for me, it was like a lot of fucking money and rolling in the Benz. Like, that's something I didn't necessarily have, but I thought that was success. And that's what I'm kind of striving towards.
Yeah, so you're like almost blind from like what you actually have, and you just see what you don't have.
Yeah, because I think it's if someone has everything that the other person has, they may not define that other person as successful.
Right. And I think that's why success and gratitude go hand in hand.
Right.
Like, if you're constantly striving for success that you don't necessarily have, you're also lacking gratitude for what you already do have.
Yes.
And I think for you growing up, you guys always had the best fucking food, and you always had so much fucking love.
We did.
And you also had a lot of friends, and like your parents had a lot of friends, and you had a community, but you didn't have that money piece that you wanted.
Yeah. So I take the money piece thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what success is.
And you're like, that's also like the only missing piece, honestly.
Right. But then in the other universe, there could be someone with, all the money in the world, but no community, no family, not eating good food. Mm-hmm. And they may look at me in that situation and say, that's what success is. So it's so eye of the beholder. It's insane.
So then I think what we're even getting to is that success isn't about the tangible things that make you successful. It's about the feeling that success brings for you.
Right.
And I think what we're saying is, I think a lot of people define success as being happy or like being joyful.
Yeah.
I don't actually agree with that. No, I think success isn't necessarily being happy. I think success is being content, satisfied, fulfilled. And I don't think you have to be the most happy or joyful person all the time to be satisfied, content, and fulfilled. But I think success is not wanting more. And yeah. I mean, and you can want more, but being so grateful for what you already have because it's enough. I think that's success for me specifically, because I think something for me that I've always defined as success is money as well, because I grew up with money and I saw my parents be successful, and it's so interesting how your upbringing shapes you. Because I'm literally like, the 2 things that I define success are recognition and money. And my dad had both of those things. And I looked up to my dad. I mean, because he would get stopped in airports, or like he'd get stopped in a restaurant or whatever. And it's so funny. I'm like, I want recognition and money. And I'm like, why? Oh, because my fucking dad had it. And that's what I like saw. So I think
Shorty wants to be famous.
Bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
There you go.
But I think also I've had a big shift, honestly. I think the last 8 months even with my definition of success, because I think for so long I was money hungry, and I think it was kind of twofold. Like, I always had a man in my life providing for me, which I fucking hate, and I'm so grateful for it, but I also want to be able to earn my own money. I want to be financially independent,
which
as Amanda, not as Lucas's wife or my dad's daughter,
Totally.
And so I think that was always I was chasing the money because of that, and also because we had 2 kids, and I wanted to be able to like provide and contribute while also being like, yeah, I can go get my nails done because like I got the money, you know? And that was driving it for so long. But then I did a hypnotherapy session that really changed my outlook on success, that I honestly haven't even talked about the hypnotherapy session because I think I'm still processing it. But I literally like went into my inner child and we did this guided meditation and I asked her questions, and it was like, what did she want? It wasn't to be
You asked your inner child questions?
Yeah. And what I realized is I asked her, like, what do you want? And it wasn't that I wanted to be taken care of financially or that I even wanted to be financially successful. It was I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be heard. I wanted people to recognize me. And I think just, that can be on such a small scale of like, Lucas sees me, where I'm having a rough day and he's like, go lay down, go lay down, go take a moment for yourself. Like, that's being seen, right? But also I think we tend to take our child wounds and then turn them into these like grandiose versions of what they were, which I think now is like, I want all the followers on Instagram. I want fame. I want like the biggest podcast. I want all these things. And I think that I did that too by realizing, oh, what I want is recognition. But I think at the end of the day, what I think is successful for me is building relationships. I define success as being able to build relationships and connect with other human beings and see other human beings, so I'm also seen. And I think that recognition and money for me is almost like a sub-level of success. Like, that's what I want, but really what I want is I want to build a lot of relationships and I want to be fulfilled and be able to have freedom. That's really what I define it as.
Yeah. I love that. I think relationships goes hand in hand with it's who you know, and relationships are such a major driving force in being happy and community and friends, and I love that.
What do you think is like the biggest burning the dish moment for people in their 20s, maybe what you see in like your friendships or people you talk to when it comes to success? Like, what do you like hear from people and you're like, that ain't it,
Yeah. I think it's doing the opposite of what you just said. I think in our age group or our generation, people think that they, in order to be successful or to get where they need to be, they need to do it like on their own. They need to ask for no help. They need to create and understand the resources on their own. They don't necessarily start the conversation with a stranger at the bar. And I think that's burning the dish.
It's almost like an entitlement or like an ego.
Right.
Of like, I don't need anybody.
Exactly. Like, that's what's going to burn you.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think if you like me, I want to get to the point where I don't need anybody, in the way that if something tragic did happen and I didn't have anybody else, I would be okay.
Right.
Like, it's almost like this, just like the survival need being met. But I don't want to be on my own, like, I don't want to get financial success so then I can like divorce you and fuck off and whatever. No, that's not what I want,
I hope not. Jeez. That would suck.
I want to just know that I have it, and I think that that's so different than like, I got it, so I don't need anybody. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm not going to like make connections. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that,
Yeah.
And I think that you're right. So many people are so afraid of making connections. And I think it's because they lead with like, oh my gosh, this person could give me this opportunity, or I can do this and this and this and this and this. When necessarily not, it's not even about that. It's like, you just want to make the connection with somebody and build the rapport, like building the relationship. I think what I've learned is like, it's so much more about a long game,
Yeah. I think it's also scary. Talking to a stranger these days.
Totally.
Right? It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy being at a coffee shop overhearing conversation and being like, oh, and then like kind of intertwining or even introducing yourself to someone new, or, I think that's step one. And I think because of, cell phones and this whole digital world that we live in, our generation is fucking up by not diving into the actual beautiful thing of human interaction and meeting someone new
But what I think is, if we're talking about building relationships in terms of also being successful, right? Because I think that, like, if you listen to any of our interviews, everyone has said it's like, oh, I had a friend who did this, who did that, who helped me do this.
Right.
And so I think that's so important. And I think it is in the back of everyone's head, and even my head. But I think what helped me, because I have a funny story actually, but I think what helped me is understanding, like, oh, I don't need to go into this conversation with my own hidden agenda of like, oh, maybe this person can help me with the podcast, or maybe this person can help me with something, you know? I have to just go into just trying to get to fucking know them as a person.
Right.
And I think that takes so much pressure off of it. It makes it so much easier to go up to somebody and be approachable. But I have a funny story. I actually, and you'll remember this, it was like literally January 2nd when we were so motivated. We like just did the cold plunge, and I was working at Nurture. Do you remember what I'm about to say?
No.
I was working at Nurture, and there was this woman there who has a massive social media following in the parenthood space, and they do other things in the parenthood space. And I was like, oh my God, this girl is here. And I actually met her back in the fall because she was working, and I noticed her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I follow you on Instagram. Like, I love what you do. You've helped me a lot, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. And I hadn't seen her since. And so I saw her on like January 2nd. I texted Lucas. I was like, oh my gosh, she's here. What do I do? And you're like, go talk to her. Go up to her, 2024 mindset. Like, let's do it. And I totally burned the dish because I think I was leading with, hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast.
Yeah, how
hey,
can you
come? Can you do me something? Can you do something for me?
Yeah. Where it could have just been another, hey, good to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah.
How are things? Like, building a relation. I shouldn't even went in with an ask.
Exactly.
Because now I see her all the time.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I don't say anything.
You
She
don't
doesn't say
say
anything. Well, because it hasn't been a situation where we've like made eye contact. It's kind of just like I see her and she's working, and then she's,
Yeah,
I've seen her like,
that's a really good point.
I've seen her like 5 times.
That's a really good point.
But here's the difference. If I would have just went up to her and said,
hey, good to
oh
see
my
you
gosh,
again.
hey, good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Like, what's new? Love your new podcast. Like, have a great day. The last 5 times I've talked to her, I would have said something else.
More of a conversation.
Yeah, more of a conversation, built a relationship. And then maybe I could be at the point now where I'm like, would you ever consider coming on my podcast?
Yeah.
Do not go in for the kill right away. Burning the dish moment, major.
Yeah, it's actually a beautiful learning lesson right there.
Beautiful learning lesson, but also fucked up because they're a huge brand that's not only like could benefit us, but like great value that could provide for the listeners. But you live and you learn.
I'd challenge you then. I would challenge you the next time you see her.
I've thought about that.
Like,
I'm
buy her coffee or something.
Yeah,
like, start over.
I'm not gonna buy her coffee.
Not. Just start over.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, next time I see her and like she's in a situation where she's not working or looking like she's busy, she'll be like, hey, good to see you.
Yeah, and then like,
How was your weekend?
Yeah.
Great. Well, enjoy yourself. Enjoy your coffee. Whatever.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, I think there's room to room to revive that.
Maybe, but it was like I think I just needed to do it just to like get uncomfortable, prove to myself like I'm doing things differently this year. Like, I'm going, and I learned from it. But man, do I wish that I didn't do that. But now I know. Now I know that next time I see somebody who also is somebody that maybe I would want to get on the podcast or whatever, like, I'm playing a long game. I'm like building a relationship, and I'm not just like trying to get something out of them,
Totally.
Because like I would love to be this person's friend, I don't know.
And it'll be that much sweeter when they do come on the podcast and we can tell a funny story about it.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think we need to wrap up because we have appointments for permanent bracelets like right now.
Let's do it.
We're going over to Love Sorrow and we're going to get a little anniversary bracelet together. So thank you guys so much for listening. This was a short and sweet episode, but we wanted to get something out for you. Also, please stay tuned because we have some fun things happening.
We have a lot of really awesome things to look forward to. You know what to do. Follow us on all of our social media pages,
which is What's the Recipe Pod on Instagram and TikTok. If you're new here, you can just find us on What's the Recipe Pod. Also, please DM us. Like, let us know how you're liking the episodes. Let us know what you want in the episodes. Like, we want this to be collaborative. We want to know what you guys want so we can deliver that.
Shoot us a review. Tell all your friends and family. This episode is officially 86.
Bye.